Okay, hello everyone. I'm late today, and I haven't even informed. I haven't posted a sort of announcement that I will be on live today. But I thought I'd yes. So anyway, it's weekly. It's the weekly question and answer. So if you have any questions, post them on the chat box, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So I don't really have anything. Just one second. I'm just checking my phone to see. Okay, so I don't really have anything, any topic that I wanted to discuss in particular, but just maybe a story of a client that I had assisted. It's a visit visa that they applied and how it was successful. I just received news today. Usually, when somebody applies for a visit visa to come to the UK, it's sort of 50-50. It's like a lottery. No one guarantees that if you submit an application for a visit visa, you will be granted. So the story is she is from the Philippines, and he is from the UK. They've never met, okay? But because he wanted to go and visit the Philippines, or because there's restrictions, then there is the difficulty of traveling. Then they decided that she would come to the UK, and obviously she doesn't have any funds to support and pay for the trip, so he paid for all the trip. So that was quite an unusual application, but she was successful. So it just really goes to show that even though you you think that it may be unsuccessful, the Home Office will grant it. But the lately, what I've been finding is that the Home Office they have been quite flexible with immigration applications, and I don't know whether it's because of COVID-19. If it is the reason, if it's COVID-19 that um, they've been a bit flexible with the results, then it makes sense, because there's so many things that's happening right now that are unavoidable. People losing their jobs, travel restrictions, and so on. So they've been their decisions have been reflective of the current COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, there was one application um, for private life. So this guy applied to renew his private life based on the fact that he has British children, two British children, but he's separated from the mother, okay, who is settled in the UK. So completely, separated. He had a job, but he didn't have accommodation, and the documents that he submitted with his application were sort of, didn't even meet the requirements. So I thought it was going to be refused because they've asked for something and he did not really provide it. So the Home Office wrote to me and say, your client needs to provide more documents. Then I asked him for the documents, and he said I can't provide them, and that was it. But then the Home Office came back with the decision that his application has been granted. So that's another one that I thought would be refused. So it's very reflective. I would, if you are in the process of thinking, do I need to apply? Shall I wait? If you have reasons because of the pandemic, let's say, then go and apply and see what the decision will be. What self-scanning facility mean, Alex? Are you applying for the fee waiver, Alex? So what it is, if you're applying for the fee waiver, you need to take pictures of all your documents, okay? And take all the pictures, and then they normally send you a link on the email that says you know, click here to set up your account to upload your documents. So once you got all your documents, you know, in online on digital format, then you can upload it. But otherwise, if you're applying for fee waiver, you send all of them by post, okay, including the passports. But just make sure you send them by guaranteed special delivery so that you have a record of, you know, of the documents that you submitted. Also take copies if you can. Send it, and then they normally return it. But I would take a picture if you can, or go to, yeah, library is closed, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, take a picture. That's the best bet. Take a picture. If you have a laptop, then make sure it's saved on your laptop, and then connect and upload everything. Okay, that would be your best bet. Okay, the second, yeah, there was one thing I wanted to also discuss. One of you asked, I think urgently, you know, for fee waiver. The visa was expiring like in 2 days, but he's still waiting for the decision. If so, you have two choices. If you can't really afford it, okay, so your visa is expiring, you've made an application for fee waiver, but you haven't heard from them, and then the visa the visa's expired or expiring like the next day. Your best bet would be to make sure your application is ready. Okay, so complete them online. Make sure it's all ready to submit. If you really can't afford to make the payment, then you know there is really no choice except to have the visa expired, isn't it? And then just wait for the decision. When you then submit your application, if you do get it, when you do submit your application, and you've overstayed, just explain on the cover letter, on your cover letter, to say that the reason why, you know, it's my visa's I've overstayed, my visa expired, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and the reason why, you know, I have not been able to submit it because I was waiting for the decision on the fee waiver application. So explain why the cause of the delay. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, either you overstay or what else can you do? You can't, you know, it's not like you can, if you really can't find the money to pay for the 2,600 something fees, then you just have to wait for the decision, okay? Because it's all about affordability for a fee waiver, and you know they should take that into account when you see your statement as well, bank statements, because when you submit your bank statements to see that you don't have any funds, then you know, hopefully they'll consider it. I think there's 14 days that shouldn't affect your future application. The only thing that will affect is when you apply for citizenship. Okay, so when you apply for citizenship later on, and you say, or even for indefinite leave to remain, and you have over 28 days or over, let me double check the period, that's allowed for you to overstay, that won't affect your future application. I'll double check the period, whether 14 days, but definitely not 28 days. It used to be 28 days, but they reduced that. So if you are, if you overstayed and you apply for indefinite leave to remain, that may affect your application later on. So that's all it is. But if you really can't find the money, but you need to stay in the UK, then you know you can, you know, that's the only option you have really, is to wait for the fee waiver decision result. Okay. Okay, so your wife, Alex and Diana Ray, so your wife's already already overstay, is an already an overstayer because of the expiry of the visa. But yeah, the only thing that may sort of, it will be a bit of a shame if you overstayed because you can't afford for the visa would be if you are on the 5-year route. Okay, if you're on the 5-year route and this is your like last extension before you can apply for the indefinite leave to remain. If you overstay, then you know that might affect your indefinite leave to remain application, and therefore, yeah, that would be such a shame because then you would be put on the 10-year route. Yeah, that's the only, you know, that's the only thing. That's why when you need to apply for the fee waiver, give you know, have more time. Okay, it's better to have a bit of time than you know then you wait too late to then apply to wait, you know, you wait for the visa to expire and then apply for the fee waiver, and then you don't have time to wait for the decision. Then that would be tragic. How long does the fee waiver take? Okay, how long does it take for the fee waiver decision? I had one recently and it came really quick. So we applied within, I think within 2 weeks, they sent the decision. Okay, so it was very quick. We applied, I think beginning of February. Was it beginning of February? Probably end of January, and then we got the result. No, no more than that. Yeah, no, I think beginning of February we applied, and then she got it within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, and then she submitted her application for the extension of her visa. So 2 weeks. So if your visa, let's say, so it's not, you know, I think in one of my videos I said, you know, have like few months, because in the past it was by paper. Okay, so you submit your it's only very recently when everything is online. In the past it was through paper request. So you submit your application for fee waiver with your application form. So fee waiver application and then application as well. So together you send it and you don't have to worry about anything. So it's all with the Home Office. But now it's all online, so it's kind of hard to judge whether, because there is no guidance when they're going to process it. But if there is no money to pay for the Home Office fees, then you know that will be difficult. So I would say about 6 weeks. I would say about 6 weeks before your visa expires, because if it takes them, let's say, 2 weeks, okay, 2 weeks to process, and then you then have 10 days, because when they send you the code, you have 10 days to use it. And when you use it, that's when you submit your application form, you use the code, and you have 10 days from the date that they sent you that that decision, that code. So that will then take you within the 28 days that you're supposed to you know, to apply. I know these are all like the 28 days. It's kind of confusing, but I would say around 6 weeks to start the application for the fee waiver. Spouse visa, first 2 years stay. Okay. So it is a first 2 year. Okay. So then it's okay. That should be okay then. Then it doesn't affect the future application, Alex and Diana. Okay. So if you have any questions, just drop them, because I specifically do not have any topic at the moment. Although what I can do is I can talk about skilled worker route. Okay, so I have looked at the skilled worker route because at the moment I am assisting one person to apply for the skilled worker route. So she's actually in the UK, and she her employer, so she has an employer who will sponsor her, and she's going to be working as a nanny. So the Home Office, so the Home Office has introduced the skilled worker route, which makes it easier for people outside the UK. So I used to say outside the UK and the EU. So outside the UK, so this includes the European Union citizens who are not in the UK at the moment, and who have missed the applying for the pre-settled, applying under the settlement scheme, to come to the UK to work if they have an employer. So there's a whole list of available of eligible jobs. So for you to come to the UK, you have to have an employer, but just because you have an employer doesn't mean you can just, you know, come. That employer has to be licensed with the Home Office, so they have to have a licensed sponsor license from the Home Office, and the job that you're coming to do in the UK has to be under the eligible jobs. And the list of jobs, it's so many. There's so many. You have to be paid at least the minimum of 25,600 per annum before tax. So that's the sort of like the minimum, okay? But if you're, let's say, if you are a doctor or if you are a professional, then you have to be paid the going rate, at least the going rate, okay? You can't be paid below that. You know, otherwise then there's restrictions and there's requirements. But for those who just want to come for, let's say, a nanny job, any other sort of, you know, not so professional jobs, then, you know, you can get paid for that. 25,600, and you need to have an English language test of at least B1 in speaking and listening. Okay, so if you're interested in this skilled worker route, please let me know, and I can help you maybe find out more about it. Let you know if you have friends or family who wants to come to the UK to work using and applying under the skilled worker route, then let me know. So I'll answer some questions here. Okay, Vishal, hi Vishal. My wife is an EU citizen. She applied for an EU. Mom, certificate application 7th January, so not receive any reply. How long does it take? Okay, so does her mom, her mom is in the UK? If so, look, the certificate application 7th of January, you're still okay. You're still okay. So absolutely nothing to worry about there. Okay, so you just need to wait. If you don't hear from the Home Office for, you know, the next month, then you could always call them under the EU resolution contact. This contact number, they're very helpful. Call them and just ask for an update. But usually you just need to wait. I would be worried if, let's say, end of May, you know, because the deadline is 30th of June, isn't it? You have to have this EU settlement scheme by that date. Okay, so I would chase them for the decision before then. So January, it's still March at the moment, so you have plenty of time. So I would not worry. Okay, I think Himalayan Tube wanted to ask me something, and I missed completely, and you've retracted your message. No problem. But if you have any questions, just, you know, message me on the chat. This is the reason why I'm here, to answer questions sort of live, so that I can actually explain more than just you emailing me and asking me questions. Let me just see my phone and see if I can answer some questions. Okay, because you have sent me some. Oh, okay. Here you go. I have ILR. Okay, we're for 10 years with me. Should she apply for? Okay, all right. Okay, so the 10 years long residence, okay, it's a settlement application. You have to be very careful when you're applying for indefinite leave to remain using the 10 years long residence, because if there is a gap of 28 days of overstaying, then it breaks the continuous residence. So one of the requirements for these 10 years indefinite leave to remain, it's called 10 years long residence visa, but it's not really, it's indefinite leave to remain settlement under the 10 long residence settlement. If you've lived in the UK for 10 years continuously, let's say let's say for 5 years you were, I don't know, student, and then you changed into the spouse visa, okay, so you can apply under the 10 years. So Himalayan, if your wife has been in the UK, entered the UK with a visa, was issued with a visa, and she's continuously resided in the UK for 10 years without any gaps, okay, without any gaps in her residence, then she can apply for indefinitely to remain under the long residence route. Okay, so when it comes to your son is 2 years old. Was your son, were you indefinite leave to remain when your son was born? Or did you only get your indefinite leave to remain and your, okay. So no, he can't apply for the passport, but he can apply to be registered as British. Okay, so it's a long route. It's a long route for your son. If he was born in the UK and you had the ILR, then automatically just automatically apply for the passport. But because you just recently got your ILR, you have to register him as British using the using the application form. It's called is it MN1? Yeah, MN1, form MN1 for your child. And then once he gets that, then he applies for the passport using the registration certificate. Okay, so I hope that the answer about the long residence it's clear, because this type of application, it requires preparation, really preparation. I had one application under the 10 years, because she was a student, for many years she was a student, and then she changed visas while she was still a student. She was a European, she married a European, and then on the 10 year, but she didn't want to wait for the permanent visa. She wanted to get the indefinitely to remain on her own on her own name without relying on her husband. But there was a gap. One of the applications, one of the years, there was a gap where I don't know what happened with the application. I think something was missing, and the Home Office returned her application form, but she didn't receive it because there was a postal strike, and it was like over 28 days. I think it was over 2 months. And she tried to, argue, but they wouldn't listen, still refused. So she wasted like 2,000 something at the time. We actually applied twice. She applied once, we got refused, and then we applied. So she applied herself, and then we got refused, and then she came, and we even instructed a barrister to write the cover letter to make sure that it's all addresses all the issues about the refusal, and it was still refused. So, but luckily she's now able to get it, because from the date that she had a gap, she had to wait like I don't know, 2 years so that the gap disappears from her history. And yeah, she's got it now. Chucky, why would you apply for Chen and Zambrano at the same time? Zambrano is, let me just double check. I haven't dealt a case that involved Chen. Okay, Zambrano I have, but 1 second, let me just check. Well, Zambrano is, the idea is, okay, the idea is if you are applying under the Zambrano, okay, is that you are looking after, you are the main carer of the child, of the British child. But you should only use one, because there's I suppose Chen is another category. Okay, so you have to choose one only. I think when you apply for it, you have to choose one category. This is my understanding. Himalayan, can my wife apply as a family member of mine? I spent 10 years with you. Does your Himalayan, does your wife not have a visa at the moment? If she doesn't, then I would, if she doesn't have a visa right now, I would apply for your child to be registered as British. And then once your child is British, then your wife can apply to stay in the UK on the basis that she has a British child. Unfortunately, it's not so strong when it comes to a wife and a partner who has settled state, who has a indefinite leave to remain. It's not very strong link, attachment when it comes to applying for an immigration application. They would say, well, you and your partner can go back to your home country and live there happily ever, that's the Home Office argument. They'd say, go back to your home country and your partner can go with you. That's the argument. But if you have a British child, if your child is British, then they can't really say, yeah, well, the British child has to, go with you. They can't really do that. That's why there's so many overstayers. Once they have once they have a child who is British, they can stay in the UK, even though they've overstayed for many years, or they've been detained and released, and really adverse immigration history. Then it kinds of help them remain in the UK. She has a valid visa till June. Okay, what kind of visa is that? Is that spouse visa? I think. Sorry, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what kind of visa it is. Himalayan. And also, if you're okay, spouse visa. Okay, if it's a spouse visa, then yeah, unfortunately, it's not attached to your indefinite leave to remain. She has to renew it. Okay, she has to renew it, and then she gets another 2.5 years visa. Hello, Simply Life Abroad. Thank you for dropping by. I'm okay. How are you? Okay, going back to Chucky Odogwu. Okay, what were you trying to apply? What's the situation? What's the circumstances? Why did you say that can I apply for Chen and Zambrano at the same time? Because from my recollection, these are two types of categories, and you have to choose one, and whichever fits the your circumstances, then you apply for, it's either Zambrano or Chen. but not both, as far as I know, not both. Okay, I have another 5 minutes that I can stay and answer all your questions and chat with you guys, and then I will sign off. And if you do have any questions, drop them on this chat, and let me know. Oh, okay. The child is British and Spanish national. Dual, okay. Well, unfortunately, you can only choose one citizenship, Chucky. Okay, so tell me, how old is the child? Okay, how old is the child? Chucky, how old is the child? And let me think. Have you applied for the pre-settled status as well? What's the situation when it comes to under the EU settlement scheme? My understanding is that if you are a dual national, okay, and this is the thing is it's Brexit already. Brexit's already happened, so it's urgent. Okay, 6. All right. Okay, thank you. It's urgent that you apply through the 6 years. Okay, okay. So apply for the pre-settled status. Yes. So it will be Zambrano. It will be Zambrano. If you can't use British. If the child is British, yes. Yes. Child is British. If the child is British, yeah, Zambrano. But it depends on. It really depends on the circumstances. What the arrangement is. Is the parent around? Is the other, is only one person looking after the child, and the other partner is part-time looking after the child? Because this makes difference when it comes to the application. I'm just trying to think. I think there is a forum. There is an organization. Again, okay. Let me just see. Let me just get the 3M. I'm just looking for the organization that helps people. Yeah. So, Chucky, I would ask this organization. Okay. So I'm writing it here. www.3million.org.uk. Sorry, just the 3million.org.uk. Yeah, the 3 million. Yeah. Okay. So, Chucky, I would check the website out. Okay, and check, so you can get more information about. So both parents, yeah, that will be a bit difficult, because if both parents are around, then you can't rely on the Zambrano. Okay, if both parents are sort of living together, it really depends on the circumstances, because I have two people who have obtained. So she has obtained. So both mothers have obtained a residence card on the basis that the child is British on the basis under the Zambrano. Okay, Zambrano. They are the main carer. So one example is the child is she's living with the partner, but the partner really, you know, there's kind of domestic abuse going on, and she really can't claim that he's, you know, he's looking. She lives with him. They live together, but they're separated. It's sort of like an arrangement that's not really ideal. Okay, so he kind of look after look after. He works full time, so the mother looks after the child. He works full time, but doesn't really, you know, have full time involvement with the child. The other case is the mother looks after the child. The father is quite old and has is on disability allowance because he is has been diagnosed with something like depression, and so he's ill. So they've granted that. So both parents are living together. So I don't know, Chucky, what your circumstances are. Both parents are living together. So if both, you know, you can argue that if one parent, so I don't know whether you want to. Oh, okay, okay. So and you're the one applying for, okay, permanent residence. If you are the main carer, you can say, yeah, you know, you can stay, okay. But if you've missed that, because it's quite expensive if you want the visa to apply using the immigration rules route, then that might be too expensive. But if you want to apply, yeah, I think you can use the Zambrano. If are you self-sufficient, Jackie? If you are self-sufficient, then I will have a look at Chen, but I haven't dealt with Chen case before, so I can't really, I can't I can't give you, you know, I can't give you any advice on that, unfortunately. So I've done Zambrano application, but not Chen. But I would advise you to just check that organization and see if you can find some answers on Chen, because it seems that, you know, it's if your child is in the UK, the mother is Spanish with permanent residence, so you know you should be able to stay in the UK either under the immigration rules as a parent of a British child, or you know somebody who has, okay, if this child is Spanish citizen, also has permanent residence, let's say, okay, then you know you can claim that you should be allowed to stay. And I would apply and I would apply for the fee waiver as well. If you can't afford the fee, apply for the fee waiver and then submit an application, because your application will fall under the human rights. Okay. All right, guys. I think yeah, I've gone over my time, but thanks so much for hanging around and asking questions. It's been interesting. Thank you, and have a lovely Tuesday evening. Okay. You know where to find me if you have questions, but you know, just pop them and leave comments and I'll pick them up. Thank you so much. Bye.